Hi everyone, and welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today we are working on a dishwasher installation, and let me share with you why this is an important thing in selling a house or possibly in buying a home. So this is the basic layout in a small 1950s kitchen. There's not a lot of room for a dishwasher because originally this had an apartment-sized stove and refrigerator right in this space, and taking out any cabinet space down low for a dishwasher can really hurt the square footage real estate of a small kitchen. Fortunately, this kitchen has a spot for two refrigerators, one on either side. So over the years, the refrigerator has switched from this side of the kitchen to the wall that I'm facing. That does open up some space for a dishwasher in the future and possibly even changing things out. We'll get to that in future videos when we start working more on this kitchen. So my previous home that I sold 3 years ago had no dishwasher space, but it had extra counter space and a peninsula that didn't make sense to the natural flow of the kitchen. And we were able to change that to just a alley type kitchen counter space, take out a bank of drawers, and put in a dishwasher. A lot of new homeowners don't know how to handle the carpentry, the plumbing, or the electrical in that situation. We were really lucky that we had electric already in place from something that had previously been removed from under the sink. So it was real easy to tie that in. And when you're just swapping out a dishwasher like we are today, it's a lot more simple. That being said, I'm not going to spend a lot of money on appliances for a home that we're going to sell or possibly a rental, because appliances are like computers. They can get outdated very quickly, and everybody has a different taste or style. You can see this kitchen is all white. It's a clean, simple look. It's not big industrial looking, which is the vibe I always got from stainless steel. We have a cream colored kitchen appliance suite at our own house, and we had basically moved our appliances from our old home with us to there. Back then, I would have chosen black appliances. As our appliances started dying, ordering cream colored bisque or biscuit colored, it's an off-white, became harder to find. And you were paying an extra fee for that color. So we went with a stainless steel dishwasher, and boy, did I regret it. It got scratched right off the bat. We have a farmhouse kitchen, and it is a family of 7. It had fingerprints and marks and splatters and spills on it all the time. And honestly, white really hides a lot of that, and the black shows a lot of dust. So we've been through all the different colors in appliances, and I prefer the lighter colors for quick, easy wipe downs and cleanups. Short of like a boil over on a stove, most of the appliances wipe down pretty quickly and easily. So that being said, a lot of people have a lot of different color choices. Today I'm going to show you 2 different dishwashers that are both in an off-white. Whirlpool and Maytag. A lot of companies are kind of outsourcing their builds, and Whirlpool makes a lot of the different brands. This is an older one back in the day. Whirlpool was separate to my knowledge of Maytag, but a lot of the parts are interchangeable. So I bought this thinking I was going to be able to swap out the control panel for the dishwasher panel that is already in the house. Somebody had bought a home, wanted to go in and change all the appliances, and sold this to us for $25 or $45. It's in like new condition. It was a small household, I'm assuming an elderly couple, and it didn't see a lot of use. It's in really great clean condition. So when I sold my home 3 years ago, we went back and visited the couple about 2 weeks after they had moved in. I had to put in a brand new stovetop because it had the original 1950 stovetop, and it had about a 2010 double oven that was just superb, supreme, high-end, nice KitchenAid refrigerator that was only about 5 years old. And about one of the first things the guy said when he looked at the house is, well, the appliances are kind of dated. I said, well, actually, the stove was brand new. And even when we did the inspection, it hadn't even been hooked up yet. So we had to have that hooked up to be able to pass the final inspection on selling the home. Like I said, I went back 2 weeks later. Every appliance in that house was switched out. Basically, as soon as they made the offer on the house, they, and we accepted the offer, they went and ordered new black appliances, and they went with a freestanding stove, and that affected the floor and lots of other things. These situations come up, but if you can make a house move-in ready, it puts you high on the market in choices for a homeowner for move-in ready to not have to go in and do a lot of different things. And then they can kind of work on changing the appliances to the colors they want as time goes by. We will be coming up on Black Friday sales. And if this house is sold before then, they can get it on those deals. Because in this kitchen, the off-white appliances look really nice, but the dishwasher has one flaw to it. It started losing the covers, a little plastic tab that went over a stainless steel button, and that can be a visual downgrade. The inside is great, so we're going to be swapping this out today. The first thing you need to do is make sure your water valve is off and that your power supply is off, generally at the breaker in the basement. Some of these are hardwired to a plug, so look for an outlet under here, but usually they're just hardwired right into the house. So when you're looking at your breaker box, check for a label, and it can even be mismarked because of overtime making changes. So we're just gonna go ahead and make sure, yep, we're off, and go upstairs and double check. So just push any of your buttons and you shouldn't have any lights, no power. And if you want to winterize your dishwasher for storage, like in your garage or porch, if you're going to be selling it or donating it, even to preserve it for parts, the pump and other parts and components in a dishwasher can cost hundreds of dollars. Just the heating element is probably $45 to $50. Last time I had to order one. And this whole lower pump assembly is several parts together, dishwasher racks, things like that. It's worth it to add some antifreeze to it. Push any start button and let that run for just a second. And then hit the cancel button, and that's going to get that RV antifreeze. Use recreational vehicle antifreeze, it's pink. Hit the cancel cycle, and that's going to park or let that antifreeze sit in your pump so that it doesn't crack and freeze. So right here, you have two fastening flanges up into your countertop, and there should be two screws, one on either side. Ours have already been removed. And then there's an access panel down below right here. It's basically a kick plate. You're going to want to either use a screwdriver or a nut driver to take that off. And you can see it's basically a splash guard to keep things from getting underneath your dishwasher. Generally speaking, it's a 6mm nut driver or screwdriver. This is a screwdriver head that I have that has a removable ends feature, and that usually fits all of our appliance screws. And then you just take that out. So this is what is in there to take out. This is like a second piece that stays hidden behind to fill up any gap like this. And generally, it's been removed. You'll find paperwork for the electrical wiring diagram. Just keep everything together for the next owner. So even though we have some projects going on here, you can see how this easily could be done in stainless steel because we have stainless steel hinges and door pulls. There's space for a larger stove. Like if you had a gas stove and you wanted a 6-burner like Viking stove, there's extra space on the end. We're choosing to install like a cutting board on the end that'll be removable so that if somebody wants to install something larger, they have that option. It's an old kitchen and it just needs to be functional and look good. This was originally a cupboard or drawer banks, and you can see that because there are these little notches here where there used to be either the drawers or shelves. This needs a trim piece put in, and nothing was ever put on the end here to cover that. So that's something that we'll be addressing in all of this as well. It's gonna probably just get a plywood end with a face piece there and an extra piece here on the side. These usually have just the slightest rubber. This could actually go over a little bit closer. This should be overlapping right here. So on the replacement dishwasher, you can see it's just like a rubber flange, and it's just slightly adjustable so that when you have it installed, you can actually nail this, there's holes here, to that opening to fill the gap. So you've got maybe 1/4 of an inch to work with on each side. Overall, this Maytag is a much better design feature than the other for that. So now you can choose whether you want to disconnect your water discharge from your under your sink cabinet. In this case, it's going straight to the dishwasher. In some cases, it's going to other accessory areas. At my own home that I live in, it is different. Or you can unhook the discharge here at the drain. You can see that there is water in there. So maybe have a container to catch the water, whether it's a cookie tray, towels. You're not going to get a bucket under there. You've only got a couple of inches of clearance. And with the power off, you're going to want to be opening up this access panel, again, with a screwdriver or nut driver to disconnect the power. Your new dishwasher may or may not come with a drain hose. It sometimes is an add-on accessory. So if you can reuse your old one without buying another, that can save you a little bit of money and time. Now, in easing in your installation for your machine to come in, here we've got a brass inlet valve for your water. You're going to want to go ahead and either put on your pipe dope or your plumber's tape on here to be able to put your new hose, your existing hose on there. We've got the stainless steel braided hose, so that's going to get hooked up right here. Open up the access panel for the wiring because that's going to be a lot easier to work on having this open. And your feet adjustments. These are way too high for what the current dishwasher setting is. We want to be able to slide it in easily. And then you can get your pliers up above or be able to rock it back a little bit to get that to the adjustment you want. Like I said, these are way too high, and that's going to be really hard to slip it in under the existing countertop. Because, as you can see, this dishwasher's got front and back legs. The one that we're pulling out has wheels on the back and only front adjusting legs. And then we can just adjust it once we get it in place. So in my case, I'm really glad I have the opportunity to be able to work on this swap out dishwasher or installation dishwasher, because in your case, it's going to be different. You might be buying a brand new dishwasher out of the box. And that can be simple and complicated, because like when we did ours at our farm, we had to get just the right turn angle for this. It's not included with the dishwasher. So that was an unexpected trip back. Our uninstallers didn't know how to get into the panel. They cut the wire as close to the machine as they could. And in opening that, I realized their ground wire is touching but it was never fastened. It's just sitting on there. So that's an incorrect issue. And you get that sometimes with these guys that do installs and deliveries because they're just trying to get out of there as fast as they can. Save these wire nuts because you can reuse them. And a safety thing that we do in our electrical work is we always tape and wire nuts. So wire nut and then put tape over the top. That way they can't get loose, because as you can see, here you have a solid wire and a strand wire. So the silver one is strand wire, and sometimes they don't like to stay together. So now we can get rid of their deal here, because that little nut right there is what they needed to get to do the proper uninstall. And with their wires gone, see, this is the Romex. You can see that little coated wire right there. So we're gonna wanna take this apart so that our wire goes back into here. So I'm gonna just go ahead off camera, take care of that. So to be able to slide the dishwasher out, you want to disconnect your water supply, have something to catch the water. It's gonna dribble a little bit. And disconnect your electrical supply here as I did. And we've already got our supply set up for the reinstall. We've got the wire nuts we took off and tape and a nut driver to tighten the cover that goes over your electrical supply. And once we get out, we'll be able to tip it up a little bit to disconnect that water supply line under the dishwasher, attached to the dishwasher, and the drain line, because like I said, there's just not enough room there for working. So here on the one we're uninstalling, you can see better where the drain hose is, and that's just a hose clamp. You're gonna squeeze that off with some pliers and move it down here to the end, and there's some ribbed rings on the pump, the discharge pump that it is sitting on. So you might have to wiggle it a little bit to get it off. Don't wiggle too much because it goes to about here and it's plastic. And then right here is our water supply. So we're gonna go ahead and disconnect that also. So to help you out, I was having trouble. The whole mechanism here, mounting bracket, was wanting to move. So he's doing it so I can film it, clamp it on top to hold it with one hand, and unthread it with the other. A good tip we'll share with you that I always forget about is soap is your friend. If the rubber fittings for your drain hoses are hard going on, you can coat it with soap to help them slip over each other a little easier. And now those are just fitted together and hose clamped together. So here we're just redoing what we had previously undone, white to white, black to black, and ground into the mounting block. You see the yellow wire nuts, that we reuse those. And then just to make sure that nothing gets loose later on down the road, we always cover them with plenty of electrical tape. The cord in there. See how that's reattached, just like I showed you when I took it off. So everything underneath is hooked up. Water supply, drain hose, electrical supply with the safety cover back on. And now we're pushing her back in and hooking up the water supply down below. Valve's open. Yeah. All right, now we'll turn the power supply back on in the basement and give it a test run. So we've got it on a rinse cycle. So far things look good. We'll just keep an eye and make sure that the Teflon tape is working, doing its job so that your floor doesn't get wet. That gives you a good look underneath the dishwasher as far as seeing where you may have problems with leaks, or like if your door isn't working, you see there's a spring on a rope that could break and then your door doesn't work properly. Very simple things. So once that's all clear, we'll put the toe kick back on and we'll be done with our installation. I hope this helps you with yours. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.